This is about the Diva of dashcams, the Audi Universal Traffic Recorder, or UTR. The UTR mounts underneath the front mirror, where it also receives power from that system. Video is recorded to a micro SD card, easily removed. Most settings are changed using the cell phone app and Wi-Fi. The extremely high-tech device doesn't just house a camera, but also a GPS sensor, a shock sensor, and a radar sensor for motion outside the vehicle. The unit is fully independent of any cameras or sensors that may already be on your current Audi. The UTR is quite difficult to install, takes many hours, and each model will be different, so I didn't include a price to install here. But take whatever you think it is and double it. In fact, maybe even triple that number. It's pretty expensive. The front camera shoots full high-def video, 1080p by 1920. Although it's fairly stealthy, I wish it didn't have that big feed wire coming down to it. I think it takes away some of its appearance. The rear camera shoots at a slightly lower resolution and is mounted about 2 inches below the top of the window. The free app is available from the App Store. It's very quick to connect to the Wi-Fi that comes from the camera and is password protected. And once you're set up with that, it's easy to start getting into the settings on the app. This tells you what's recently happened, 9 radar events. I find the radar very sensitive here, and I'm still trying to figure out how to detune it so that it picks up motion around the vehicle but isn't set off by every leaf blowing by or bicycle going by. The live view really is just showing you what the camera is currently seeing. I mean, you're looking at the live view. I'm sitting in my garage right now, so it's not much of a view. The video gallery recorder.
Recording stopped.
There's my little German lady friend there. These are all the events, just the things that are driving, parking, and events. September 1st, 2019. And then I'm assuming that these are the times. But what I find sometimes is that they can be a little bit mixed up. Like the things will be in here that I actually did yesterday, and it says 2019-09-01, which is a little bit strange. I can hit a check mark and then hit play, and it will go through, after a momentary delay, the activity going on there. I was parking and on a busy street, and just the motion of that person walking on the sidewalk was enough to set off my event recorder, and that's all it was. So you're going to go through a lot of that kind of stuff. The rear image is not as detailed. It's not as fully high def as the front image, so it's just being displayed on the phones. If you want to download an image here, if you just hit download, it will put the high quality full high definition video onto your phone, and you can either watch it on your phone or you can transfer that to your computer. Done 1, fail 0, confirm. Okay, so let's go back to the menu again.
Recording started.
And we'll go to the phone, and that's the event that I just downloaded there. So if I click on that and play it, that's the high quality, very short high quality image that it has. Okay, so that was the video gallery. Car finder, that hooks up to the GPS. Okay, so I'm going to say OK. Let's say get car finder. There's a GPS and a radar and a motion sensor in the camera mount. It's very expensive, and you might be wondering, why is it so expensive? Well, it has all these other features in it that you may not have it in your Audi, and you may not, or that model, or the options that you had. I already have these in my Audi, so it's a bit redundant. So if we go to settings.
Recording stopped.
Thank you. The mode, driving, standard, no choices, parking standard, channel front and rear, driving G sensor, that's if you bang into something, I assume. And I've got it set on 3, which is sort of moderate, between 1, which is turned off, and 5, which is highly sensitive. So that'll probably go off all the time if I'm on a ferry or something like that. Then the parking G sensor here, from off, most insensitive, most sensitive, I'm going to leave it at 3. Radar, it has less selection. It's either off, 1, 2, or 3. One is the most insensitive. I am going to leave it at that, and I'm going to apply those changes. So video overlay, you have choices here. You can, on the little video recording, you can have date, time, and speed. Speed can be off or on, of course, kilometers per hour or miles per hour. I'm going to leave mine off, and the reason I'm going to leave mine off is that I've reviewed some of the videos that I've done, and when I come up to an intersection and stop and leave again, it shows me as coasting, as not going down to 0 kilometers per hour, but maybe down to like 5 or 7. So I think what it's doing, it's averaging a number of seconds of driving time. And so instead of giving me a 0 value, it's averaging when I was coasting to the sign, stopped, and when I'm leaving the sign. So if you ever had that video used in evidence for going through a stop sign, you're sunk, because it does not show you a stopping unless you stop there for, like, I don't know, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. It's a pretty simple system. If you go back to the
Recording started.
Thank you very much. The legal is like this ton of stuff on privacy and recording data, and that you won't publish it without anybody's permission, and it goes on and on and on. It's quite onerous. You have to agree to a lot of stuff. The manual, and this is quite handy. Then how to connect to your smartphone, the various operating modes. So one of the few complaints I have is there's really no way of quickly going through it. You have to sort of try to figure out the times it was at. Each recording is quite brief. Same with driving. I only just put this in yesterday. Look at all these events. It's crazy. And this is one day, September 1st, and it's only noon, and yet look at all these events. I mean, this is wild. So I haven't seen like a select all delete on this thing at all. So it just builds up on the card and then starts overwriting the oldest ones. And because I have a 64 gigabyte card, this could go for some time. I probably should erase all this stuff, especially if I'm about to start a trip and I want to have a nice clean slate. Actually take the SD card out, put it back in again, and it automatically resets. So you have to make sure if you take your SD card out, and you do download those files to your computer if you want to save them, because it will reformat the card automatically when you put it back in again, and everything is wiped out. Let's compare the superb video you get off of an iPhone to that of the UTR. We'll have them side by side here to compare. The UTR is a normal wide-angle dash cam. I've converted it here to view on a Mac, and the iPhone is a nice high-definition video output. If we compare the two side by side, first of all, you do see that the dash cam is much wider field of view. It's pretty sharp, maybe a little less sharp, and both have good dynamic range in this cloudy overcast conditions. If we stop them both and pull a single frame out, we see that first of all the very wide angle on the UTR does limit what you can do with the frame. There's just that much less information in there. When we close in on that taxi, it's hard to really resolve much high quality data out of there, whereas the iPhone has the advantage of just a narrower field. It's a shame that the Audi great cameras on board here, and they really are superb, aren't used at all in a recording device. I think it would be so easy. It's right here on the display on the Audi. It's already built in, and you'd think it would be pretty straightforward to put an SD card in an Audi and just record the data to it, but no, we have to go with an entirely independent dash cam. So the files are AV files, and they're not read on a Mac, but this is my solution. I used a software called SkySoft. I drag that AVI file in there, and it converts it into an MOV file, which is easily read on a Mac. It doesn't have any of the jerkiness that some of the other converters had that you saw earlier on in this video. And then you can go through it and frame by frame or look at the whole thing. It's fairly fast, and it also gives you a thumbnail view of that 1 minute video, so you can scan them all really quickly. So I think this has been nice if Audi had built this right in, and you get these nice little easy to use videos, and they display just like any other 1 minute video clip. Nice thing about SkySoft software is that you can download all your videos, and then you hit a button called Merge Videos, and it takes all those 1 minute clips and it merges them into one big video. And this would be a great thing for a holiday. You could do 30, 50, 100 minutes of video, and then you can scrub through that video and quickly come to the scenes that you want to stop at, maybe go frame by frame. My final thoughts on the UTR on the Audi. It's negatives, first of all. There's so much stuff on board already. Why can't they use that? It's not quite as pretty with that power cable hanging down. It's got some redundancy already with my Audi with all those devices on board. Only a dealer really can pull all that stuff out. The app sensitivity, I'm still trying to figure out what those settings are. I'm going to have to look at hundreds and hundreds of files that are not suitable for my Mac, and it's really expensive. Let's look at the pros now on this. All the stuff that's packed into those things makes it possible to retrofit it to many models and years of Audis. It's quite simple to set up once it's done on the phone and can be left alone. The front and back cameras and sensors give a high degree of surveillance. It's reasonably well hidden and quite stealthy. The video files can be converted easily into viewable files. It's continuously powered and works well with the ignition system, and is backed by Audi. If anything happens or goes wrong with any of the wiring, you've got somebody to fall back on. This technology has been lurking around the corners with Audi for a while, and it's for somebody that really wants to bring the most high-tech aftermarket Audi technology to their model. Extremely sensitive and wide range of motion detection, recording interesting video from road trips, backup for insurance, a dash cam without any of the usual wires, suctions, and ugly looking setup, a minimal look, and is possible to be removed, and if you have a lot of money and you don't mind having the best product out there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this useful.